Hi, everyone. My name is Casey Gollin, and I'm a research ops practitioner at IBM. And today, we're not just talking about democratizing UX research, but democratizing the platforms themselves. Once upon a time, there was a research tool that had it all. It allowed researchers to do their work faster and better than ever. It spread like wildfire across teams in the company. A few designers and product managers started getting access to the platform, and they were also easily able to run simple studies like a click test or a tree test. And then a private equity firm with a vast portfolio of B2B enterprise SaaS acquired the research platform and its biggest competitor and decided to merge the two. The platform was essentially abandoned for a year, while a pile of unaddressed feature requests and bugs continued to grow. Meanwhile, product teams across the company were coming on board to the idea of continuous discovery and clamoring for tools like this that could make their process easier and more rigorous. When renewals came around, the platform's sales team hiked prices 400% in an attempt to squeeze more and more profit out of the same broken old tool. And at the same time, the company decided that subscription software was out of control, and they committed from the top down to reduce spend. So the research platform's future seemed to hang in the balance. Adding in a new vendor would take at least 6 months and would require retraining the entire org if it even passed the gauntlet of CIO, procurement, privacy, legal, and finance. So the company had to scale back access to the dusty old research platform, and dreams of self-serve access to research tools were punted to the next budget cycle. I'm going to leave this story as a cliffhanger because I honestly don't know how it ends. But I do know that many of my peers in the Cha-Cha Club and the ResearchOps community are going through similar struggles right now with software evaluations, negotiations, and procurement. And problems like this are not isolated to one platform, one vendor, or one customer. So let's talk about an emerging alternative, which I call open research platforms. Beyond the platforms that you might think of when you picture established enterprise solutions or cool new startups, there's an emerging category of open source competitors. As you can see in the bottom, there's a little bit of a gap and an opportunity for more open source software to be created in the space around conducting research. Let's take a closer look at the difference between closed and open platforms. Open source means that you can actually access the code. Instead of lobbying for roadmap items, you could go ahead and implement them yourself. And you could even contribute back so the entire user base could benefit from this. It's really a community-oriented model. And in terms of cost, open source doesn't always mean free, but it's typically transparent. So why is this important for research? Tools have pedagogies. They embed certain beliefs about how research is done. When I think of democratization today, I think just about expanding access to UXR tools to other kinds of people in the company and maybe giving them a playbook or some structure for assistance. But if we expand the idea of what research software could be, you could imagine new ways to co-create insights across the company. Most off-the-shelf research software starts with the idea of a research study, but you can envision a totally different model, more like Wikipedia, where anyone in the company could collaborate on questions or topics. What do we collectively know about this area? Another possibility that I haven't found available in the market is the ability to really connect UX research to product impact. Because this doesn't exist, this is something that our team has been building internally. For any initiative, we can see how it was validated methodically and rigorously. We can actually follow the path of impact all the way through to usage and revenue. The designer, Maggie Appleton, recently gave a talk on what she calls homegrown software, where she identifies people like teachers, and I would add research ops practitioners, as technically savvy people that are trying to solve problems for themselves and the people around them, often using spreadsheets and no-code tools, but really pushing them to their limits. You start to hit a wall when you try to jump from your Airtable or Notion to something as robust as the applications on the market today. Maggie predicts that these kind of folks will soon become end user programmers, or what she calls barefoot programmers. These are users who can create software and systems that meet the specific needs of people around them. If you're not an engineer or on a team of developers, you might be wondering, how do we get here? Another kind of democratization is taking shape: software development. It sounds wacky until you watch videos like this one of an 8-year-old girl that creates her own platform for messaging with Harry Potter just by describing in plain language what she's trying to do. So you don't need a PhD in prompting to create something. If you do have a knack for distilling a complex and nuanced process like UX research into a set of steps, you'll soon be able to use that same skill to literally create platforms out of your playbooks. I've shifted from thinking of my team as a research operations team to something more like a research platform team, owning the building blocks that other teams use to ship impact. Platforms help achieve goals like scaling and moving faster. With open platforms in mind, let's envision a different ending to the research platform procurement disaster. Flashing back to that fateful merger between the two platforms, imagine that a third, fourth, and fifth open source alternative was readily available for use, part of a thriving ecosystem of open source experimentation around research tools. And it didn't really take that much effort to procure and get going, because the open platform could be hosted internally on trusted infrastructure. It only took one click to migrate old data to the new platform, and the pricing was transparent and a fraction of the cost. So it was reasonable to make these tools available to anyone in the company to co-create insights, not just design and product, but sales, support, and engineering. The team was able to build new features which fit the company's unique way of working and method of tracking impact, and they were able to contribute these back to the community through the open ecosystem. New forums also opened up within communities like the ResearchOps community and the Cha-Cha Club, where professionals across companies could workshop new methods and new approaches and actually share implementations in an actionable way. So that's a pretty different world from the one we're living in today. Let's look back and quickly recap what we've talked about. SaaS can really be a nightmare, even when you're going with the safe enterprisey option. It's not a safe bet for democratization. Open research platforms are an emerging alternative with many benefits, and especially the opportunity to create new forms of research, not just add users as a way of democratizing research. And finally, research ops practitioners are in exactly the right position to influence this kind of change. We're already the ones that are writing the playbooks, and soon we'll be writing the software. My prediction is that ops teams in the coming years are going to become the platform builders. Thanks again to Cha-Cha Club and Rally for organizing this awesome event, and feel free to get in touch if you're interested in continuing to discuss these ideas.